JC Motors with how to bleed your motorcycle brakes. At JC Motors, you can ride with confidence and shop with confidence, knowing that we offer no hassle returns, life returns, and even a damage replacement offer. Go to jcmotors.com for all the details, and you'll find out why over 280,000 motorcycle enthusiasts like yourself have purchased their parts and gear from us. Today, we've got Joe to show you how to use the Motion Pro motorcycle brake bleeder.
Great, thank you. Well, here it is, what Clint was just talking about, the brand new mini bleeder. And it's pretty awesome because it's a little tool, but it makes the job so much easier. Because what they did was they put a little one-way valve inside here so that all you have to do is slide it on. You get it on there, it goes on there a little, not hard, but you have to push it on there so that it seals. And then they already incorporated this little wrench on here, which has a lot of little teeth in case your brake cylinder is in a tough spot. Then you're able to just work it and you know, crack it open just a little bit. In the past, what I've had to do is, you know, you put a hose on there, crack it open, someone's up here, someone's down there, you push, pull, turn. It's a long process, and sometimes it's frustrating because, you know, you forget to tighten it back up, you get air in the line, and it's frustrating. This tool for $24.95 for the 8mm, $26.95 for the 10 and 11mm just makes your life so much easier. And when I said 8mm, 10, 11mm, what that means is your actual bleeder. That bolt right there is either 8mm, 10, or 11. So just take a wrench on your bike and see what size it is. Like this little bike here uses an 8mm. So that takes care of that. So another question you might have is, okay, why do I need to bleed my brakes? Why do I need to change my brake fluid? Well, Motul actually recommends to change your fluid completely once a year and then bleed it out about once a quarter. So having a tool like this, again, makes it so much easier. What are symptoms of why you'd want to bleed your brakes or change your fluid? The symptoms are very simple. If it is spongy and it just doesn't feel, you know, it doesn't feel new. If it just pulls in a little bit too far, then you're gonna freshen it up. Either change out the whole fluid or bleed it a little bit, make sure maybe that some air got in the line. So definitely, I mean, I'm real picky about my brakes. I like them to be right there. So that's a couple reasons on why you want to change your fluid out. So today we're gonna use the Motul 5.1. Motul offers 3 different levels of brake fluid depending on your application and what you're doing. On this little pit bike here, you know, we're going with their entry level, which is the 5.1, and that has a boiling point of 522 degrees Fahrenheit, a dry boiling point. Also, they have a 600, a Motul 600, which their dry boiling point is 594 degrees Fahrenheit, and then they have a 660, which is 617 degrees boiling point dry Fahrenheit. So depending on what you're doing track days, you're going to want the 660, you know, so it just depends on what you have going on. There's different price points, you know, as far as fluid, but today we're going to use the 5.1. Another thing to think about also is this works with dot 3 and dot 4. You can mix 3 and 4, no problem. Dot 5 can't mix. So on the top of your master cylinder here, it will tell you what your bike takes. Dot 3, dot 4, dot 5. So it'll let you know there. But very critical. You can't mix 5 with anything else. Most bikes are 3 or 4, but just another point to think about. So now we're going to jump right into this. And thankfully, these are the only tools I need. I just need the bleeder, and then I need a screwdriver in order to take the cap off up here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bend down here, and I'm going to pop this mini bleeder on. Got a little drain bucket here. Like I said, you push down a little bit and it'll seal. And then I'm going to just crack it open just a little bit. Cracked open just a little bit there. So it's tight there. Just maybe about a quarter turn or so, something like that. And now I'm going to go up to the top. And these little screws, if it hasn't been taken off in a while, can really be a pain. So be very, very cautious. Take a little extra time up here. Make sure you have the exact right screwdriver and put a lot of downward pressure on this so that you can get these out, because it's a real bugger because they're flush mount on most of them to get them out. Couple tricks I've had to do in the past on some of my older bikes is actually take like a die grinder after they're all stripped out and make a straight line out of it, and then use a straight slot, or I've drilled into there and had to tap it out. So there's a few tricks you can do, you know, once it's stripped out. Obviously, try to avoid stripping it, and it makes your life so much easier. All right. So I've got the little screws out. Then there's the cap. And then it has, on most all systems, this little rubber piece that drops down in there. Again, it's all just to keep air out of the system. So this right here takes up all the extra space that, that you have on the top there, so that there's no air in the system. Take those out there. Another key thing when you're doing this, once we get going, I'm going to have to keep stopping. You just don't want the cylinder up here to get lower where you start pumping air into it. So you got to keep putting the fluid into it. So we'll see here. Okay, you can start seeing it come up through the line there. One full squeeze there. Another squeeze. Yep, I'm really getting about maybe 3 or 4, and then that's getting pretty low. So I'm going to just top it off. Boom. Yeah, that's working it right down through there. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of it out. Starting to look a little bit cleaner coming through there, and that's what I'm concerned about as I'm doing a full line flush. Is there's old, dirty, nasty stuff in there. I can kind of see through this clear hose, you know, where I'm at as far as getting the old stuff out. Okay, so there's that. So now I feel pretty good that I've got all the old stuff out. I'm going to go ahead and just tighten it back up. Boom, now it's tight. Dump just a little bit more in there. Okay. Now I'm going to put the little rubber deal back in there. And this will usually, like it's going to do to me here, a little bit will spill over, which is actually good. That means it's completely full and there's no air in it. So we'll pop that back in there. Bing, bing. Okay, put this back on. Take my time, make sure it's dialed in real good. Put the little screws back in. And then just like anything, I'm not going to wrench then torque that one right down. I'm going to just get it a little bit snug. And go ahead and do the other side. Again, just get it snug. There, kind of bounce back and forth. The reason you do this is you just don't want it to tweak the cap. You want it to go down nice and evenly. You can see some of the fluid oozing out right there, which is perfect. That means there's no air in there. Should mean that. Crank this down. Alright, feel pretty good about that. Double check this down here. Good and tight. Take that off. Last but not least, before you go for a ride on this thing, you always want to make sure that it's working nice and good there. Give it some pumps. Feels so much better than what it was. And then there it is. There's how to change your brake fluid with the Motion Pro Mini Bleeder.
Great, thanks, Joe. As usual, we welcome all your questions. You can call us at 800-706-9476 or go to jcmotors.com, get live support, and you'll find out why JC Motors is where riders get deals.